Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hatha Yoga. The theme for today's class is honoring our transitions. So let's get started. Have a couple, let me give you some ideas about what we're going to use for props. My suggestion is you have a couple blocks available to you. And if you're in the habit of using blankets for support, please grab them as well. I always personally have 2 blocks and 2 blankets with me whenever I practice. So a couple blocks for sure, I know we'll use them. So find your nice, comfortable seated position. Just choose a way for you to sit and begin your transition process now, our transition into this yoga class, into our experience of yoga. So changing gears from the activities we've been doing, the thoughts and, mind chatter we've been processing, and bring ourselves fully into this space and time. So we need to set that aside, set a particular time and awareness of we're changing gears, and that's the whole idea of this theme for today. Life is constantly changing, so transitioning is a skill worth cultivating. I'm going to use the vinyasa flow of our sun salutations as our teacher for transition and the consistent return to a stable home base of the body, the heart, and the breath. So let's close the eyes, sit tall and strong, turn your palms up on your lap in a mudra of receptivity. The gesture of open palms just speaks to us of receiving. This is our opportunity to start feeling the body as we breathe, calming the breath and the mind, maybe deepening that breath, and setting your particular intention for class today. The common parlance about that is, what's your why? Figuring out the why of participating in this yoga class today, why you tuned in to YouTube so that you could do a yoga class. What's your why? So set the intention now. Take a moment to inquire within. This is for you. It's all about you. So get to know that. Put words to that, or see if you can formulate the answer to your why, just for today, just for now. Soften your mouth, relax your face, eyes are still closed. Feel the rhythm of your breath start to balance out. And many times it's helpful to count your breath so that you can find it. What I mean by that is, as you inhale, you start counting how long it takes you to fully inhale. And then when you exhale, you are going to try to match that number or even lengthen it. So just figure out how long it takes you to inhale by simply counting. And then exhale the same number or even longer. So you feel your breath start to balance. The inhale and the exhale balance itself out. Let's stay with that practice for just a few more breath cycles and know that it doesn't take long. You don't have to keep counting. Once you've established it, your mind body will connect to that breath rhythm pretty simply, pretty readily. So trust that you've established it and that you're just going to breathe in this equalizing, balanced sort of breath as you transition into this Hatha Yoga practice. Good. Let's now take a big breath in through the nose and exhale it out of your mouth with a big sigh. Ah. And then opening your eyes and get used to the light. And we're going to make our way to an all fours position on the mat. Start by opening up your knees and your ankles as wide as the mat. So hands, knees, ankles are as wide as the mat. And you're just going to start what we call non-linear movement. So sometimes I've referred to this, or I've heard it referred to as drawing a figure 8 with your body, but really it doesn't have to be even that well described. It's just non-linear flowing movement. And I highly recommend that you close your eyes for this process. When you close your eyes, you give yourself a little more freedom of expression. You can sort of trust what the body needs, and you're not trying to create a particular, what's the right answer here? We're not going to get hung up with that. So nonlinear movements is a great way to just start to unravel, loosen up, and trust the body-mind connection. Remember to soften your face. Sometimes we just grit our teeth or have pressure in the mouth is a habit. So I'm just going to remind you that from time to time. Relax that. We don't need it. So keeping your knees apart, your knees and your ankle are as wide as the mat is. Just walk yourself over to one side. I'm going to walk over toward the right side and just see if I can just feel a little twisting of my body. Turn your head now, mindfully moving your head around and just feeling how the neck feels right now. Deepen the breath, stay with it, and don't hesitate to move your hips. Or if that feels natural to you continue to kind of finding that non-linear movement, even as you've positioned your hands in this particular way. And then we'll finish that side and move over to the other side. Both hands are coming way over to the other side of the mat. And now we turn our head. We're mindfully finding range of movement in our neck, just for our information, just valuable for us to know. How's the neck feeling? And maybe you're feeling still the need to move in that nonlinear movement and your hips still moving. All that's fine. Just trust yourself here. Trust your body to find your way in. Beautiful. Let's come back to center now. Bring your knees into alignment with your hips. So drawing into your more conventional tabletop position. We're going to get into the shins and into the tops of the feet by sitting back, letting your sit bones sit right onto your heels. Or your thigh bones are now parallel to one another. And just see if you can sit and hold and allow the stretching through the tops of the legs, through your shins and through the tops of your feet. If you feel any cramping in your feet, just make a fist and push the knuckles into the soles of your feet. And I'll bet you that will be a remedy for you. Otherwise, just move in any way you need to remedy that. Obviously, you're not going to put up with a cramp. But I find that to be really helpful to just kind of press in, because there's that fascial tension. The fascial layer of your sole of your foot just needs to be released and relaxed. And then they'll come to all fours, and I want you to just come and go with that as you slide your hips back toward those heels, just keeping the tops of the feet down, just some pulsations forward and back. And then let's get deeper into the feet as you turn the toes under and lift your heels up. Turn the toes under, lift the heels up, and then sit on that. So the sit bones come to meet the heels here. And now you feel lots of pressure in your toes and the balls of the feet. I'm well practiced at this. This is something I do all the time. So I can sit here pretty comfortably. And if you're finding that to be challenging, then use that pulsation. Just start pulsing yourself back and forth so you can start working your way into that, bringing body weight gently but surely into your feet so you can feel the stretch of that. Once you feel like you can hold it for a little bit, let's try that. Lifting up, holding, pull the belly in. Feel yourself, just straightening up and lengthening through the spine. Let's interlace the hands behind the back so the butt of your hands comes together, and pull down the knuckles toward the floor, and at the same time pulling the hands away from the back body. So good stretch for the pec muscles of the chest. Feel the alignment of your spine here. This is a nice feel of that arched back, a little bit of an arched back that we feel when we do our cow pose, but really getting into the pecs. So up through the collarbones and the whole chest muscles now. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's exhale completely and bring our hands back to the floor. Now just float your feet up off the floor here and circle those ankles around. Let's let some of that tension go. Soften the toes a bit. Give yourself a bit of a relief here by just balancing on your knees and letting your feet circle around, circling through the ankles and moving your toes. We'll land with the toenails down, tops of the feet down, and we're finding our conventional all fours position or tabletop to begin our cow and our cat. So let's lift up the chest bone, Lift up the tailbone. Find the pattern of that to begin with. So we're just going to stretch it, arch the back, feel how the shoulder blades adjusting to that while we're both breathing in and breathing out. And it doesn't have to be rigid. If there's some movement in your hips, you got to kind of move your head a little bit because that's just what feels natural in your body. I want you to trust that. That's the Guru Dev. If you're familiar with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. We bow to that teacher, the guru within. Good. Next time it's time to exhale. Let's start pulling the belly in and rounding slowly into the C-shaped curve of the cat, letting the chin drop towards your chest bone and feeling the roundness through your shoulders, the softening through your lumbar curve, and the big pronounced dome shape of that thoracic area of your body, of your back body. Try to surrender the weight of your head briefly here. You just feel that bit of a shift, that the weight of the head has been surrendered. And now you know this one. So now we connect it. This is where we begin the vinyasa. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Try to exaggerate the movements. So good for your spine to have this kind of undulation through this vertebrae. It's a wonderful way to warm up for yoga. That's why we do it. You see it at so many classes. We got to approach it with a beginner's mind. It's so easy to think, I know this, I've done this 1,000 times, I can do it. I want you to feel it. Pay attention to how it is today. I'm going to add a little variation of that. It's called the scooping cat. The inhale has you drop your hips and buttocks in towards your heels, and it's a long inhale as you drag your chest down along that mat, coming finally up, and exhale into your cat pose. So scooping, inhale, long inhale, dragging the chest, movement of the vertebrae, strengthening the upper body. Exhale, cat. Don't shortchange your exhale. Don't shortchange the breath. Give it all the length of the breath you can find to move through this scooping cat. I'm scooping, but this time I'm going to land on the belly. We're going to land all the way down, coming down and finding, just kind of come onto your forearms, stretching those legs long. Belly comes down. Finding your crocodile pose, which is just letting your legs open up however they are comfortable, stacking your forearms and resting your forehead down there. So you're grounded through the front body. Find your breath here because it's such a unique and beautiful experience of breathing when your belly is down. And here's a good pose to wake up the body and open up into the hips. We're going to just prop ourselves up on our forearms and palms down into what's commonly referred to as a Sphinx position. So you feel the back bend of the Sphinx as you lift your chest up and you're propped up by those forearms. But let's add a frog leg to it. So we're going to bend the knee and bring it up, up, up as far as it'll go. And then line up your heel, line up your ankle right below that. And see if you can now hold that frog leg position and feel your way into your hip. A little more challenge is to turn the toes of the other foot. So your straight leg now, you're going to turn those toes and it'll allow you to lift your leg up off the floor. So toes stay down, but you've lifted your thigh, you've lifted your knee off of the floor on that straight, what I call the standing leg. So now we've got a frog leg on one side of the body and a straight leg lengthened through, hovering above the floor on the other side. Let's find our breath. Let's drop that hovering leg, let your knee come down, soften the foot, and let's bring our frog leg back to its neutral position. Let's just find your stacked arms to rest your forehead, but bend the knees so the feet are up in the air and you can kind of move them like a windshield wiper. Maybe you're spinning your foot. Just feel what's natural for you to reset the body after that position we found. And beautiful. Let's lay the feet down and we're going to do the other side. So once again, we find the sphinx of our arms. Forearms give us great support. Palms are down. And then we're going to bend that other knee. So we've created the frog leg on the other side. Remember to let your ankle just line up straight down from the knee and lift up your chest, press into the floor with your forearms and just feel that in the hip, breathing. Maybe there's some gentle movement. Then let's see about adding that a little more challenging dimension as we turn the toes under, and then that other leg is now hovering above the floor, toes are down, holding us nice and steady, but we've hovered the thigh up off the floor and deepen into our frog leg. Again, this one might be a place to sort of pulse forward and back, even though it's tiny little movements, you can feel that in your hips. And let's release that leg back to the floor, turn the toes back under, and we'll take the frog leg out of the picture. And again, stacking arms, let's find some relief from that. Bend the knees and just let your feet move around. Belly down, feeling the unique breath experience whenever we're in this prone position. Beautiful. Let's start making our way up now and back into our all fours. I'm going to say let's open up our knees as wide as the mat and bring your big toes together, but sit into your heels a moment, sit into it so you feel how that's really the depth of the kind of pose we're looking for as we come into the long arm pose of the child. So slowly and mindfully bring your arms down in front of you, forehead reaches to the mat, and extend long through the arms. Remember to finish your breath. Inhale and find the fullness of the exhale. I've always said to my students, whenever we get good at that, when we can remember to exhale completely, that's good yoga. That's going to help every yoga practice, every yoga posture. Can you lift your hands, the butt of your hands off of the floor so you just have your finger pads like little crawled, little lifting up. I can't think of what I'm trying to say, claws for hands. So you got your fingers down, no touch of the arm. So you can feel how your armpits have deepened. Keep stretching those sit bones into the heels. And we surrender your weight into those thighs. And let's give it 2 more breaths. And then start making your way up. Take your time to get yourself back into the all fours position. Let's meet in our cow pose. So we're going to lift the chest up. But I want you to turn your toes under now. So chest is up, tail has been lifted. So you feel that lumbar curve. Can you feel that? I want to maintain that as we approach our first downward dog. So let's float the knees up off the floor. Float your cow pose off the floor. And then as we straighten the legs out, we've maintained that lumbar curve of the cow as we come into downward dog. Don't be in a hurry to start walking your dog, moving quickly through your feet. I love that too. I'm totally on board with it, but I want to always be mindful about that. So as you choose to come into your down dog, just see that you're paying attention to the sensation, that you feel like you're choosing what you're doing instead of just automatically doing, because I'm going to bet your mind and your body are no longer connected. So let's make sure we're fully mindful of what we're doing here to warm up into our first down dog. I like arms as close to the head as possible. It's a good way to keep your neck and head in alignment with your spine. Beautiful. Now let's go walk our feet to our hands. So start walking feet to the hands to the top of the mat. Hang low with your head. You know how to do it. Keep your eyes open. I strongly recommend that you do to keep your bearings. Let's grab hold of our elbows and just see how it sort of forms a bridge. Your forearms kind of form a bridge between the right side of your body and the left side of your body. It's kind of a big deal in the energy body that we are always aware that there is different energies from one side of the body to the other. So we're connecting that, bridging that now as we let this kind of deepen our forward fold. Bring our hands to our shins so we're well below the kneecaps, but we got a good grip. We're not just barely touching, we're firmly touching. I actually cling to it. I bring my fingers involved and I hold on. Hold on to the little shins and lift up halfway to a flat back. See if I can find a bit of that lumbar curve. Try to straightening out the legs and lengthen the spine through the tailbone, yes, but also through the crown of the head at the same time. And then forward fold again, hanging down and deep into your fold like a rag doll. Once again, we come up halfway, half lift, they call it. And then soften the knees quite a bit so you can let your arms kind of come, bring you all the way up to standing, all the way up. Just reach up and wait. Let your body adjust. Palms will come together overhead. Exhale now as you bow into yourself at your heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Let's take a pause at the top of the mat, making sure that our feet are in good alignment, balancing right to left. Pull the belly in. Don't lock the knees though. Let's get a soft bend of the knees so we can feel our way into what's a mountain pose feel like. The one challenge about doing sun salutations is that we move from pose to pose rather quickly. So it's hard, sometimes it's hard to find the true integrity of each of the poses because you've moved so quickly through them. So let's try to make an imprint on each pose that we're really familiar with what that full expression of the pose feels like. And I strongly recommend that you simply slow it down if you're finding that difficult, that the poses are losing their shape and you're not very happy with them. Slow it down, skip something so that you're able to come into the pose with the kind of grace you had intended. Let's begin our first sun sal then. Let's inhale up, palms come up, and we look up. And as we exhale, we swan dive all the way down to our forward fold. Bring your palms all the way to the floor. Let's step the left foot back, step back into a high lunge. Right knee is bent, lift your chest up. And let that left foot, your foot comes back. So we're back now into our downward facing dog. We're going to drop the knees and find a scooping cat. So we're going to let the hips and buttocks draw in toward the heels. And as we inhale, we're dragging our chest along the mat all the way up and finding our cat pose. Inhale now as you come into your all fours position, turn the toes under, lift up, downward facing dog. Let's take that left foot and step forward into the space between our hands. I like to lift the chest so I can lift my head and step right into that space. Left foot forward, lunge. Prop yourself up. This is where blocks might be helpful for your hands. Right foot comes forward to meet the left, hang down into your forward fold. Hands come to the shins. We lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale all the way down to fold. Soften the knees. Inhale up. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Take a pause now. Hands at the prayer position. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's do the other side. Inhale up, palms come together up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Right foot steps back into our lunge. Left knee is bent. Palms to the floor. Pop that left foot back into your downward facing dog. Drop to the knees. We're coming into a scooping cat, dropping those heels back, our hips back into our heels as we drag that chest for a long inhale. Exhale into the round back body of the cat. Inhale into your neutral position of the pose of conversion and right into our downward facing dog. Lift your head so you can lift your foot up and right into that space between your hands. Take that right foot forward into that lunge. Pop the left foot forward, feet are together into the forward fold. Hands to the shins, we lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale as you hang down as a rag doll might. One more time, halfway up, flat back. Soften the knees. Let your arms carry you into a reverse swan dive all the way to the top and back to our prayer position at the heart. Let's take a little breather as we step that left foot back into our warrior two position. So we take a big step back, bending into the right knee, and make sure so that the back foot has kind of pointing the toes more toward the front corner of the mat. So finding that relationship between the front foot and the back foot, let's extend out into our warrior two position. Turn palms up. Keep the belly pulled in. And remember, a warrior two position is a side facing pose. So orient yourself to the long edge of the mat. That's the direction you're facing. And see if you can put a little more effort into that. The rotation of that right thigh is kind of leaning toward the pinky edge of your foot, just a smidge. Whereas the back leg, the rotation of that thigh is an inner spiral. So it's more to the big toe. Right arm drops to the thigh. Left arm drops to the thigh. Right arm is reaching to the sky into our reverse warrior. Back to the normal position, our extended arms. We're going to kind of Ferris wheel our way around to frame that front foot. We're back into a lunge. Let's step forward into our forward fold and reverse swan dive all the way up. Let's try the other side. We come back to our warrior two on this side. Take a big step back with the right foot. Left knee is bent. And remember, there's a relationship front foot to back foot. Pull in the belly, side facing pose. So we're turning our shoulders and our hips in that direction. So we're aligning with the front, the long edge of the mat. Palms up. That's kind of a nice way to extend and gives your shoulder blades a good position in the back body. Remember about that inner spiral. So the inner spiral on the back leg is toward the big toe, and the spiral of the front leg is toward the pinky edge. Right arm drops to the thigh, left arm reaches to the sky. Stay with your breath. And we're going to Ferris wheel ourselves all the way around to frame that front foot. Step forward into a forward fold. And reverse swan dive to come all the way up to a mountain pose. Take a pause here. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, striking your mountain pose. Catch up with your breath in a mountain pose. Don't lock your knees. Eyes closed gives you an inner view. It's also a balance challenge. So feeling your center of gravity from the inside out as you restore your breath to a beautiful rhythm in and out, all the way in and all the way out. And again, sun salutation. Now, number 2, inhale up. Exhale, swan dive to your forward fold. Step back left foot into the lunge. Hands come to the floor. We pop that right foot back, downward dog. We're going to drop to the knees and find a scooping cat. Hips drop back into the heels, and we're going to drag that chest along for a big long inhale. Exhale, cat. Inhale, neutral spine. Turn the toes under. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Lift your chest so you can lift your head. We're going to take that left foot and step it right into the space between our hands. We're back into a lunge. Pop the right foot forward in a forward fold. Eyes wide open. Hands come to the shins. We lift up halfway, flat back. Fold forward. One more half lift. Soften the knees. Reverse swan dive, lifting all the way, all the way, all the way up. Palms come to the heart. Take a pause. Second side. Inhale with me. Exhale now as we swan dive to a forward fold. Right foot steps back into our lunge. Lift up the chest. Palms are down. We can kick back into our downward facing dog. Drop to the knees. Scooping cat. Let your hips find your heels as you drag your chest along the mat. Rounding the back body into the cat. And we find our neutral position to turn the toes under and find downward facing dog. Lift your chest so that you can lift your head. Right foot steps forward between your hands. High lunge. Hold it. Pop that left foot forward into your forward fold. Surrender the weight of your head. Hands come to the shins. We lift up halfway to our flat back. Exhale, fold. One more half lift. And all the way up, soften the knees, reverse swan dive, all the way up, back to hands at the heart. Let's take a pause. Close your eyes. Hands at the heart or alongside your body, finding your mountain pose. Eyes are closed. Let's take that left foot back and come into another warrior posture. Palms are up. Side facing pose. Front heels in a line with the back arch or the back heel. And this time we're going to come into extended warrior here. So letting your forearm come into the thigh or rest on the thigh. Pull that. Let's just tuck that left hand behind the back so you can feel how it pulls your shoulder back. And then let's let that arm just land right across the ear and lengthen through that whole side body. Really press the foot into the floor so you feel grounded, and then it gives you the ability to really lift and lengthen through that side body. Let's come all the way up to neutral, and we can just switch sides as we adjust our feet into the warrior on this side now. Take a moment. Extend the arms out, palms face up. Feel that rotation of the thighs. So you got that perfect strengthening, stabilizing position now. And we'll let the forearm and elbow rest into the thigh. Get that back hand behind you so it helps you really align your shoulders, stack them up. I like to be aware of where my ear is facing too, so my head feels very neutral, protected. And then we just extend long, press into that back foot. It's like you're trying to bring some body weight back there, which you are. You don't want to shove all your body weight into that bent knee. So just imagine that you're carrying some of that weight back to the other foot. Just like that. To come out of it, we'll let that arm sweep us all the way up. Let's just parallel the feet. Inhale, both hands together. Exhale at the heart. Inhale up. And exhale, think downward dog. As you come folding down, keep your legs in that wide angle, but walk your hands forward like you would if you were in a downward facing dog. Push into your heels. Feel how it takes so much when you have that wide angle. It's just such a different viewpoint and experience of the length of the spine that the down dog offers. Opening up the chest, opening through the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Let's walk ourselves to center. Hands on the thighs. It's a half lift with this wide angle between the feet. Make sure your elbows, your bent elbows, are drawing into your waistline and you're pulling your chin in towards your throat. So feel the back of the head, neck, and spine in alignment like a tabletop. And then let's lift all the way up, palms come together. Exhale, heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way around. That heel toe yourself back together. Let's try a warrior 3 as a variation here. This is where I really recommend that you have your blocks. I'm going to have them on the high side. And then just keep your feet hips distance apart and think about the half lift we've been practicing. Inhale up with me. Exhale, fold. And find your half lift. So we're starting to create the flat back. But instead of using our hands on our shins for support, we're instead going to use the blocks. So we've got our wrist in line right below those shoulders. Take a pause now so you feel like your legs are still a super part of the support, because we have a tendency to lean into those blocks like crazy. So you don't want to cause any harm to those wrists. So just have a touch that it's useful, but it's not too much pressure. Let's extend that right leg back. Toes pointing down. Toes feels like they're pointing toward the other foot. And this is where the blocks are easy to move. So I'm widening on that left hand. So I've got sort of like a tripod. My hands and that standing leg are kind of a tripod now, pointing the toes of the extended legs straight down. This is a version, a variation of the Warrior Three. Let's try another little way to kind of challenge ourselves. Let's keep our hand on the left block. Excuse me, keep your hand on the right block, because that's going to support your extended right leg. But see if the left arm can extend past your ear, reaching out overhead. Thumb pointing up. Find your breath. Both hands on the block, both feet to the floor. Let's soften the knees and come all the way up to standing, and just take a pause. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's do the other side. Inhale with me. Exhale, fold. And then we bring our hands to our shins, but we come to the blocks instead. So we've got that half lift, shifting our body weight into our right leg now, letting the left leg extend back, pointing the toes toward the center or almost toward the other foot. So you're really exaggerating that. Create the tripod, letting your shoulders line up with the blocks, and you can kind of center the tripod of the standing leg. Find your breath. Know that you're steady. We're going to keep our hand on the left block. It always matches with the leg that's in the air. That makes sense. And we're going to let the right arm just skate right past our ear into this variation of a Warrior Three. Find a breath now, all the way through the cycle. Real strong. Hands to the blocks, feet to the floor. Let's soften the knees and roll up slowly. And take a pause in our mountain pose. Close your eyes if you're game. A lot of movement there, a lot of flow. Inhale with me, palms lift up. Exhale, heart. Inhale up, exhale, forward fold, all the way down. This time we're coming into the chair pose. So we're going to start to bend the knees and walk your hands away from you, away from from your feet. So you're in the squat of the chair pose. And then various ways we can express this, palms together, sort of in the heart. And we're getting all our body weight into the hips and buttocks, away from the knees. More challenging is to do something more extensive with the arms. Arms overhead with palms together, to me, is the absolute most challenging. That's for me. Palms apart. Maybe you just keep your hands on your thighs. So your choice about how to express this strengthening posture for those thighs. And come all the way out of it into a forward fold. Soften the knees in reverse swan dive as you come up. Exhale, heart. Inhale up. As we exhale, we sweep the arms around back and interlace those hands again. Let's open through the pecs. Pull the hands away from the back body, down toward the floor, but away from the back body. Deepen the breath. Let's try a little challenge with that chair pose as we bring our feet together. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Walk your hands forward, start to bend the knees. Keep your legs together like a mermaid leg. And for sure, we're going to bring palms together at the heart. Let's do the twist now. Left elbow comes to the outside of the right thigh. Right elbow is up. Turn your head so you feel how that your ear is facing the mat. Steady. Connect to the breath. Unwind to center. We're going to do the other side. Opposite elbow now to the outside thigh. Turn your head in a way that feels neutral. Your ear is facing down. There's a firm pressure between your hands. Squeeze the legs, breathing in, breathing out. Let's come back to center. Lift all the way up. Keep legs together. More balance challenge. Hold. And release all the way out, all the way out. Beautiful. Let's come to the floor now. Let's find our constructive rest. So as we come to the mat, we're laying flat to the floor and knees are bent. Let's open up our feet as wide as the mat. And do some windshield wipers. Arms away from your body in the way that just feels comfortable for your shoulders. So letting now our bodies start to cool down from the busyness of the sun cells and feel the rhythm of your movement now, side to side. Next time your knees drop to the right, hold them there and turn your head to look to your left shoulder or look in that direction. Now take your right leg. Your right leg is going to lay right on top of the left knee so it pins down that left thigh bone. So it's heavy on top of your leg. Now, can you extend your left arm above your head so now you feel the length from the top of the, from your hand through the armpit, through the sides, all the way through the length of your thigh, kind of right into that IT band. And continue to turn left if that works for your neck. Your right arm is wherever it feels comfortable and supportive. I have palms down, kind of an A-frame. That's where I landed. Deepen the breath. And then let's be very mindful as we disengage from that. Let's take that top leg off, turn your head to its neutral position. Both arms now look more like an A-frame position. If you found yourself kind of shimmied off of center, let's balance through the pelvis and go back to the side-to-side movement of the windshield wiper. If you find yourself taking deep breaths and you're feeling a lot of release, that's wonderful. That's what we're trying to find. And now, next time those knees have dropped over towards your left side, hold them there. Turn your head to look to your right shoulder. Look in that direction, finding the maximum range of movement comfortably to turn your head. We're going to take the left leg and cross it on top of your right thigh. So it's a heavy pressing down and kind of pinning down your right leg. And now the right arm reaches up and overhead. So now we feel that experience through the right side of the body. So take your time with experiencing it, scanning your body to feel what we're feeling. It's one of the challenges about teaching and trying to offer up, the experience vocally when we really want to just invite the experience you're having, that you're aware of that. So you start to name muscles and experiences, you're going to feel that here, you're going to feel that there. That's kind of challenging in terms of where are you really feeling it? It's your body. Exhale completely now, and then mindfully, let's turn the head back to its neutral position. Get your top leg off of the bottom leg and mindfully resituate yourself back to neutral now. I'm going to invite you to hug your knees into your chest. And when you do so, you're going to hold on to your kneecaps so that you can start circling the knees. So it's very intentional, kind of a coordinated movement. And with the intention now of calming the nervous system. So we're into the adrenal glands in the low back. And we can feel now that we're offering this gentle fluid movement to calm that area. Change the direction whenever it feels right to do so, and be sure to change it at least once. And we'll use circular movement instead of side to side. Just try it. a little more coordinated effort, it makes it more mindful. I want you to try this particular version of Happy Baby, opening up your knees wide. I know you're familiar. Please don't hop into it before. Just listen to the entry point that I'm offering, just for something different. And if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I'm going to ask you to open up your knees and you hold on to the knees. And then as the feet start to lift, instead of going to the grab hold of your big toes or even to the pinky edge of your feet, let's take our arms between our legs so that we can grab hold of our heels. We've got our hands, fingers mainly, but our hands are grabbing for the heels. It allows your elbows to be right there at the hamstrings, right behind the bend of your knee. You can press in with your elbows because we want to get our shins to be as vertical as they can be. So see if you can enter into this child's pose variation, this way to access child's pose. Excuse me, I keep using the word term, happy baby. See if you can find your happy baby with this entry and see if you don't like it. I really like it. I love to have that support that the arms offer, that my elbows are really pressing into those hamstrings, into the back of the thighs, and I can just really support the lift of the shins. Flex your feet, of course. Flex your feet. One more full breath. And then we'll just unwind the arms from that. Let's get the feet back together. And as we bring our feet to the floor, feet are together, then we can open up the knees into that Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together. Let's lay our hands onto the inner thighs. So just that gentle pressure into the inner thighs. Pretty warmed up body. I bet we'll have pretty good entry to the hips. So as we bring our legs back up, our knees back up, let's try figure four. I'm crossing right ankle on top of the left thigh. Before we get into the hip opening aspect of it, let's just place that shape. We've created that figure four shape, and keep your left foot on the floor. Let's interlace hands behind the back so we can do a few crunches, bringing your left elbow towards your right knee. So coming up and down in a crunch action, up and down, finding some rhythm of this. So again, we're back into the abdominal wall, and this is the side structure. Just a few. And lift and hold. Lift and hold. Give yourself a lot of support. Your hands are there for a reason, to hold and support your neck. Just let's give it a breath here. And then we release our head to the floor. Now we know what to do. We're going to weave our right hand between our thighs, grab hold of that thigh. Let's work that. I want you to flex your right foot for sure. That's the top foot. You're going to flex it for sure. It's a kind of a safety measure for the health of your knee. And that's it. So we start working this figure four hip opener, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Sometimes some rocking action is comfortable and really soothing. Don't hesitate to feel movement in this. Don't hesitate to just explore. And maybe you've got a way that you hold this that is very challenging for you. It gets you deep into the hips and buttocks, into that, even into that piriformis, which is a great muscle to access. Soften that up. Boy, when that gets tight, it gets mean. And start to notice how your face is relaxed, your body's starting to really slow down. Let's straighten that left leg so we've got that just kind of maximum experience of that. And then we'll bring that all the way back to center and drop both feet to the floor. Let's do a little windshield wiper to kind of reset the body from that. When we come back to center, that left ankle is going to cross on top of the right. We're going to create that figure four on the other side. Let's do our crunches, interlacing behind the head and bringing your right elbow toward that knee. Crunch. Exhale is when you're crunching. Inhale is when you're back to the floor. Just so you know, exhale, crunching up. Exhale, back to the floor. Excuse me, inhale, back to the floor. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's hold it. So hold your exhale out and then just take another breath here. Yep, the retention is just a little bit more, gives us more experience of that. And then as we lift our left foot off, our right foot off the floor, we can get our hand woven between our legs and get a hold of the thigh. Now let's get the other side. Don't forget to flex your foot. Flex that top foot, relax your shoulders, feel the support of the ground beneath you, and work out some stress that might still be remaining in your hips. I think that's kind of an ongoing thing. Always tension in the hips. Don't hesitate to rock and move and create. Stay true to the awareness of your breath a little bit longer. We're almost there. And maybe extend that leg long, or I call it the standing leg. You can lift that up, push through the heel, push through the sole of the foot. And we rebend and get our foot to the floor, both feet to the floor. And again, opening your feet as wide as the mat, side to side movements. Here's where I always cut out. I say at this point, find whatever your body needs. So if there's still a pose your body would like to do before you settle into Shavasana, now's the time to do that. So if there's still a pose that you're kind of always love doing, haven't done a bridge pose, maybe you kind of like to do that. So do the final pose that you need, or maybe right now you're ready to set yourself up for Shavasana. So you don't need me to show you how to lay on the floor. So I'll let you, find your comfortable way of being and settling. So eyes closed, of course, you begin to release and relax, and I'm going to help you through a body scan. Take a big breath in through your nose and exhale it through your mouth. Ah, like a big sigh. Do 2 more of those. Big inhale through the nose and exhale out of your mouth with a big sigh. Ah. And then try to close your mouth for breathing in and out through your nose. If that's uncomfortable, it's not your normal way of breathing for any reason at all, that it's not okay, then just change that to a comfortable way to breathe. And then just with our intention and our imagination, we're going to alternate nostril breathing. So inhale through your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril. Just imagine that this is true and it's happening. And don't get particularly fussy, like, wait, I don't think I'm doing it right. Imagine you are. Inhale through the left, exhale through the right, and stay with that breath. Inhaling left and exhaling right. Keep a softness of your mouth. Don't be too intense about it. You can trust this. Inhale left, exhale through the right nostril. Inhale left, exhale right. Now inhale left, exhale right, but let's stay on the right side as we inhale right and now exhale left. Intention and imagination has us inhaling through the right nostril and exhaling through the left. Yes, we're inhaling right, we're exhaling left. Alternate nostril breathing that we can intend. We don't need to plug our nostrils to do it. Inhaling right, exhaling left, A few more breaths like that. And then inhale both nostrils and exhale out of your mouth like you were blowing out a candle, a gentle blowing out the candle. And then let your breath return to a normal rhythm of breath that just feels natural as natural can be. Bringing your loving awareness first to the crown of the head. And then you move that awareness into the forehead, right at the center of your forehead. But be deep within your head space, not just landing on the top of your forehead, but deep within, like you're behind your eyes. Bring yourself down into your throat. Bringing awareness to the throat inside the body, like the space that the throat occupies. Finding a calm, natural breath in and out as you move your awareness to the center of the sternum. That's the heart center. So it's not the organ of the heart that we're focused on, but the space below your sternum that is known in the chakra system as the heart center. The space behind your sternum, breathe in and breathe out, aware that that's where you are located. Now, just below the rib cage, there's a place called this, right where I can't say the name, solar plexus. Sorry about that. We're in the solar plexus area, another chakra location. Breathing in and breathing out, and be deep into the body, not on the surface of your body. But it's just below the ridge at that little point, that little valley there. And then bring your awareness into the area right around your pubic bone. Deep within, so you're really kind of lined up with your sacrum. Deep within the body. And finally, at the very base of the spine, the base of the pelvis, you can feel it. The awareness can be kind of located in the legs and in the perineum there. Just feel that area at the very base of the trunk of your body. And then let your breath move through your body now, any way that feels natural and comforting to you. Because it really does help to focus our breath in an area that needs our tender loving care. Got a sore shoulder, breathe into your shoulder. Offer your shoulder your loving awareness by breathing into that area. Soften the mouth. And just be. And we trust the body. We find that our yoga practice is a way of offering a sense that we can trust the body to enlighten the soul. Let's take that deep breath in through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. We're going to start introducing movement back into the body. Step your feet to the floor. And then let your knees drop to the right side of you and curl up onto your right side in a fetal position where you pillow your head with your right arm. You draw your knees deeply in towards your chest and you feel the roundness of the back body. This is often called the seed position. Can't you see that and feel that in your body? This fetal position, also known as the seed position. Come into that and feel the tenderness of that and the intimacy of that. And then when you're ready, make your way to a comfortable way to sit. Take your time to a place of right alignment with your spine. So whatever you choose, that you feel that you're back to a right alignment so the energy of your body is flowing freely up and down through the spine. And we'll close out our practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's sync up our breath one last time. As we inhale, we bring palms together overhead. As we exhale, we bow into our heart. Inhale up and exhale. This is time to share this beautiful, peaceful energy with your community. Palms come together at the heart. We bow to ourselves and we also bow to each other. Namaste, my friends, and thank you for joining me.